We're in the Solomon Islands, visiting Munda in the country's west. It's a stunning place of tropical islands and glassy water. But our cameras aren't welcome by some.
Not allowed. I say again.
Who says we're not allowed?
Not allowed. Okay.
According to who, we're not allowed?
Okay, I will say again.
China is resurfacing the runway at the airport and building a new international terminal. Not that they were keen for us to film it.
This is a private building.
But we're just filming from a public road. We're allowed to do that.
Not allowed. Sorry.
Says who?
Not allowed. Sorry. I say again. Not allowed. Okay. 李董，安排人过来那个现场，他们又来现场拍。啊，跟他们来硬。OK， 他们昨天又安排人过来那个现场拍。Not allowed。把他那个摄像机把它盖住。
Okay. We'll stop filming. Okay. It's fine.
Please stop.
Okay. Don't touch the camera. Don't touch the camera.
Over the last 2 years, this cluster of islands in the South Pacific has found itself on the front line of a geopolitical battle. China is seeking to blunt Australia's traditional sway in the region through closer economic ties, which experts fear could one day have a military element. We travel to one tiny island Beijing has its eyes on, Kolonbungara, usually famous for its diving and hardwood timber. A Chinese state-owned forestry company is in talks to buy the island's timber plantation, but there's suspicion Beijing isn't just after the trees. It's feared the island could one day house military assets. When a Chinese delegation visited, they showed very little interest in the plantation assets or the trees, but what they did pointedly ask is, how deep is the water and how long is the wharf? This is one of the best deep water ports in all of the Solomon Islands. The water underneath us is really deep, about 40 metres here under the boat. Over at the wharf, it's more like 20 metres, which is more than enough from a very large vessel to dock here. So something in the order of 150 or 200 metres long could easily dock over there at the wharf. In the capital Honiara, China's presence is impossible to ignore. Just coming past the Chinese embassy now, and as you can see, it towers over everything else. Out towards the airport is a stadium China's building for next year's Pacific Games, which features a giant billboard trumpeting Beijing's contribution. Here on the street you even see garbage trucks driving around, which feature China Aid logos on their side. China's push into the Solomons is only possible after Honiara switched its diplomatic ties from Taiwan to Beijing in 2019. Then, earlier this year, the two countries signed a security pact that sent diplomatic tremors across the Pacific. As China's influence grows, many Solomon Islanders worry where this relationship could lead.
There is lack of information. Everything is secretive. Nobody knows, and there is no right to information in here. So at the moment, we all assume that China is remotely controlling the government and Solomon Islands affairs.
From my standpoint, from how I view it, we have become a banana republic pretty much.
Do you think the Solomon Islands is a failed state?
Seeing the amount of foreign forces that are actually here we're pretty much heading in that direction.
And there are concerns about what it means for Australia's security.
Australia should be worried about it. You know, we've never, like, Solomon Islands is a country that has no military background. Who are we trying to protect ourselves from?
Solomon Islands sits across key sea lines of communication and also across key undersea cables as well. So for those reasons, there is deep concern in Australia that any kind of foreign force in Solomons would present a direct security threat to Australia.